Hey, what's up? It's one of them nights. I just decided to come on here and talk. If you've been on any of my videos, y'all know I am super random. I will have a thought or something to pop into my head, and I just log in and start talking. Yeah. Right now, I'm chilling. Probably about to get out here and make some money, but I figure while it's a little downtime, I will come here and talk a little bit about the re. If anybody know what re means, you know it means to kind of start over, I guess. Re. Anything before re means you're going to do whatever comes after it again. There's so many of them. I put a couple of them that I thought about in the title, which is living for the re. Sometimes in life, there's things, sometimes multiple things that we have to do again. Whether it's because we messed up one time or because life happened, maybe, we can be on a path and be doing great, and life happens that so that it will throw you off your square or cause you to have to put something on the back burner. And I think a lot of times those things that we have to put down, for some reason, we don't pick them back up. I myself, I feel like life is a consistent do-over or do again. Because there's always something we've done before. If we do it again, we're redoing it. If we failed at it once and try it again. Or maybe it's something we've been doing for a while and we want to renew it. It makes me think about like when we're on the computer and things start buffering. Yeah, like our life begins to buffer, if you will. And man, you might stay in that repetitive spin for a minute and not quite tap into what it is that you need to do. But just like on the computer, a lot of times if you're missing a signal or something's going on where it's not allowing you to proceed, you have to hit the refresh. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, the refresh. It's all too easy to operate in insanity, which would mean doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same result. I think that we may do that not intentionally, but overall, I think that because we believe something is going to work or we know that we're doing it, I guess, in our mind correctly, we don't necessarily see the insanity while we're in it. I think that once you recognize the insanity, that's when you begin to factor in what is it that I need to do over or start again or whatever the case may be. Right now, I think that many of us are probably in a stage of getting back to a certain space or place or getting back in a certain order of things in our lives. There's things where people take breaks, for school or whatever, or maybe you're going back to school from, working or whatever. I don't know. Whatever your case is that would cause you to have a re-moment. And that is not one of them words, but that's what I'm going to use. That's going to be my word for the night. What's your re-moment? What is it that you need to start again? What is it that you need to do over? What is it that you need to make new? You know, think about the word refurbish, which is just what popped in my head. You know, you can have an old trusty dresser. It may be beautiful, but it might be scratched up, worn out, knobs missing. There is so many things that you can do to that dresser that will bring it back to its beautiful state, you know. And we would call that refurbish. Now, you would, in my mind, if it's a wooden dresser, my first step is going to be to sand it. In that process, you're removing all the old wood or chip paint, scratches, and everything to give yourself a new smooth foundation to build on. You know, that sanding process could take a little while, but skipping it wouldn't help your re-moment. So you got to sand it properly, you know, make sure it's all smooth. Make sure you've removed all of the spots and blemishes or whatever it is that you're having to sand off. You know, some of them have a buildup. You know, if you've been polishing your furniture, it may have a wax buildup. Hey, Miss Lady T, may have a wax buildup that you're now using this whatever grade of sandpaper you're going to use for this project to get that thing back to a smooth state. And I think that's like our life. You know what I mean? Sometimes we done been through a lot. We got a lot of bumps and bruises and dings and just things that we happen to, I guess, you know, when we're doing life, there are things that we're gonna go through. So of course we're gonna have those natural I would say scarring, I guess. But you know, but once we sand that dresser off, now it's time to what would I do next? In that process, my next thing would be figure out what do I want to do to the surface. You know, do I want to stain it or do I want to paint it? You know, you got to make those types of decisions after you created your new foundation. And that's where I am right now in my life. You know, I'm getting ready to embark on a new journey. I'm going to be relocating like really soon. And it's like, it's bittersweet and it's nervous, scary, but exciting at the same time. But I think that my sanding moments are going to be these next few weeks, or you know, I got maybe 2 months, you know. And you know, when I'm sanding that dresser, what I'm trying to find out is next, like I said, if I want to paint it or if I want to stain it, what color stay, you know what I'm saying? There's so much stuff. Like right now where I am is okay, I'm a hairstylist. I gotta transfer my license and I have to go through 3 different state boards because I was originally licensed in Ohio, which I did a reciprocity to South Carolina, which means I had a dual license for a time. Then I let the one in Ohio go. But it's like now they don't do reciprocity. So where I'm going to the next place, now they have something they call an endorsement. And I have to get the endorsement from the new state. Then I have to get a certificate sent to the new state from this state. But I also have to get one from Ohio sent to that state, since that's the my original place of licensing. So all that's a part of me picking, you know, getting ready to put this new coat of whatever it is on the situation. Like I was like, just oh my god, I feel like a rapper for some reason. But because this is so off the dome. But in this process, it's just like, man, okay, what do I need after this first step? I got to get those licenses together. I don't have any clientele where I'm going. So that's going to be another step in my process, which means I'm going to have to get myself out there. I'm going to have to meet people and network. And I've done some things to set that in motion, ahead of my getting there. I've joined networks online. I've created social medias that cater to that new location. I began to use hashtags and locations in my stories. And because I haven't transitioned, I had to find a creative way to do that so that, okay, let's say I'm doing a story. In my story, what I do is I use different hashtags that will put me, my work where I need it to be for my new home. And I hide it. So you don't see it when you look at the screen, but what happens is it still pops up in those locations I need it. Because I'm working from two places. You don't want to do things too prematurely here, and then everybody be like, "Oh no, I gotta find somebody quickly," and then you got 2 months of nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be even careful in that in my next step. But there's another thing I really have to restart all over when I get there. Then I also have to figure out, okay, while I'm building, what is it that I'm going to do that's going to generate an income? So I haven't worked a job since I was in I think 11th grade. I worked at McDonald's long enough to get a D in the class just to pass. I've been self-employed like basically all my life, so here I am now, like, okay, I DoorDash and do Uber Eats. I don't want to drive my life away, so I still need another something until I build, temporary until I build. Because guess what? When I touch down, I got to get a place. It's like I am literally restarting like everything. I'm sanding my dresser now. I'm getting ready to pick this new, I don't know, I'm gonna stain it something nice, something pretty oak or something. I don't know, but I gotta find a job, and then I have to, aside of the DoorDash, and I have to make the decision. Like I said, if I'm going to get me a regular job, preferably I'll find something from home. I think that would work best for a person who isn't used to going into a place and clocking in. So I was on Indeed today, just kind of browsing around and just laying the foundation for the next step, which the next step after all of this will be to get there. So yeah, I'm pretty much looking for a job, another way to make money besides what I do while I network and build. But the one thing I know about myself, when I put my mind to something, whether it's a redo, a refresh, restart, renew, it's going to happen quickly because that's the way my faith is set up. I know what type of skill I hold. I know my area of expertise. So because I know that, yes, I'm a cosmetologist, I can do most anything. But after 30 years in cosmetology, I don't like to do everything. I put the emphasis on whatever I'm strong in. I'm not strong in sew-ins, so I'm not getting ready to advertise sew-ins. I'm strong in cutting and short hair. Now, do I do long hair? Yes, I like doing blowouts and just healthy hair and color. Just I don't want to do a whole lot. I just want to do those things that get that money and make them pretty and get them out the door. So I know that I'm going to get clientele really quick. It happened for me when I moved here. I came on an airplane the first time and had 11 people waiting on me. So I have no doubt that I'm going to hit the ground running but you got to build that consistency in the restarting of things. So then hopefully I don't have to drive a lot. That's why I want to hurry up and try to figure out the best way to get my clientele up and stuff, because I don't want to be driving. That's not what I do. I'm a hairstylist, but it's like that's good, easy supplemental money. But when it becomes your source of income, it's kind of frustrating. But yeah. So once I get there, I imagine we'll have that first layer of stain on the dresser. You know, getting ready for what's the other stuff you got to put on there after you stain it? We're going to put a couple coats of stain because there's going to be a lot of stuff that I need to do once I get there. There's so much stuff I can do ahead of me getting there. And all this comes after figuring out how the heck I'm going to get my stuff moved. I'm thinking I'm just going to drive there, then fly back here, and me and my friend can jump in a U-Haul, boom. But it's just, I think that my purpose here tonight is just talking through my reset. And I know that a lot of us have those moments. You know, I don't think it happens once. I think it happens a lot. Sometimes we have to just renew our whole mind. You know, even the Bible tells you to renew your mind, renew your heart and your mind. And I think it's a way to declutter, to remove a lot of, whether it's negativity or stagnation, just anything that you've been dealing with that's been holding you down. It's like we need to redo some things. We need to get a fresh start. So that's why I asked, you know, what does your look like? Because I know we all can stand to do something again or restart, refresh, or whatever your may be. I think it's a scary thing in a way because you really don't know what lies ahead. But I think that's where a strong foundation in faith comes in. I think for me, I don't get fearful. It just translates into nervous excitement. So it's like, as pumped as I am, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to leave. I've been here 15 years. But I figure in about 60 days, man, that thing will be all nice and stained up, my little dresser. Then I'll be looking for the, what you put on the varnish or something to make it shiny, you know, pick out the finish I want. Yeah, the finish. I want my shiny. I was about to say a bad word. I want my stuff shiny. I want my new dresser to stand out, you know. So that's my goal, is to, if I be a dresser and I'm redoing it, refurbishing myself, I want to hit the ground shining. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I told my friend, I said, you know what? I don't have a style. I mean, I wear cute clothes and stuff like that, but I want to rebrand myself. You know what I'm saying? Rebrand. There's another I need to rebrand myself. And that doesn't mean I'm going to change who Jamaica is. I'm not going to be someone other than Meek Shear. I'm going to be the better version of Meek Shear. I'm going to be the Meek Shear that is getting a chance to pick up what she may have put down before, or finish something that I started, but maybe didn't quite have the wherewithal to get to the other side of that thing. I don't believe in going backwards, but I believe in a fresh start, you know. And when I say I want to be shiny, when I go to my networking events, I feel like this. If we all are trying to do something over and make a strong impact, when you walk into a room, you should be able to command the room. When you walk in, it should be like, well, who is that right there? That's the impression I'm trying to give. Because what I'm doing different when I get to this place is I am going to network more. I think a lot of times not know if you're a businesswoman. I think you are, Miss Lady T, if that's you still on here. A lot of times we say we networking, but I don't think we really truly get out there in the dirt like we should. And then next thing you know, you find yourself in a place where you don't feel connected to anything. Like here, I can look on social media and I'll see where there's been like say there's a barber stylist brunch, and they're giving away awards to the barbers and stylists. But I never knew it was a stylist and barber lunch. So that means I'm not connected somewhere. I don't think that's because of me. I think it's because in some places it's just like very cliquey. And if you're not in a particular circle, you'll miss a lot. So being that there's a lot that I miss here because I'm not in a circle, I'm about to go bust through some circles when I get to the new place. I'm about to come in like right now. I don't care who it is. I'm going to all types of networking events. I'm trying to brush shoulders with people who are not on the level that I'm trying to get to, or people who have the same mindset that are trying to get into different spaces. Who want to go rub shoulders with broke people? I want to go to places where some of my peers wouldn't dare go because nobody looks like them. I'm trying to make an impact. That's my goal, to make an impact. If I'm going somewhere that I've never lived before and no one knows me, then my goal is to make an impact that recharges my career, that recharges my brand, that recharges my zeal for what I do. A lot of times we get lost in the sauce when we are so used to doing something repetitively. I can go to work and do hair all day long and leave out just like a robot. I'm trying to get back to that place where I love what I do again. Not that I don't love it, but when I say I love it, where I used to be on here and I used to be displaying my work. I've had videos that get 100,000 views. I'm trying to get back to that, stylist. I'm trying to come out of the stagnant place that COVID may have put us in. That space of I don't feel like I'm growing. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe we should ever be in a place that we're not growing. And that's part of the reason why I decided to relocate. It's like, I think my mentor, one day we were talking, and this was after I had taken a trichology course with her and everything. And she was in the hustle and bustle when I left. So, once everything died down the next day, she called me. And she was just asking me feedback on how I felt about the class and what I got out of it and everything. And then she said, let me ask you a question. She says, why are you still in Charleston? And for the last 5 years, I've been saying, I'm not trying to start over. I'm 50 years old. I ain't trying to go build no new clientele. This gonna be home. Charleston been good to me. Charleston ain't did nothing to me. Those were the things that I was saying and that I was actually believing. And I'm not saying Charleston has done anything to me. I love it here. But I told her, I said, there's still people here I have to reach. I don't think I've made my impact. So she said, that's a broad statement. What does that look like? So I began to tell her. And honestly, I don't even remember what I said, but what I do know is she said, okay, well, that's good. So how do we make that happen? And I had this beautiful plan until 3 weeks later, I was sitting there and the words, because the last thing she said before that, she was like, well, as long as you got a plan, because I know what, I ain't staying nowhere. I'm not prospering. And I be a little irritated sometimes when she talked to me. You know how you hear the truth and you don't like it? Yeah, I never liked the truth, but I always, even though in that moment I may be feeling like, whatever, I always process it and then I'll go back and let her know, hey, you were right. But 3 weeks later, it was just like, man, why are you still here? And then I just heard it so clear. I know I'm not staying in no place. I'm not prospering. I think a lot of times because we are scared of starting over, we're scared of redoing a thing, we will somewhat self-sabotage ourselves out of complacency, out of being comfortable, and out of fear sometimes. Like I said, I was stuck in a rut because I felt like I don't want to start over. I'm going to be going into retirement. And I ain't nowhere near being able to retire. So do I stay in this space of insanity and keep saying, Charleston been good to me. I ain't got no complaints. Or do I get my butt up and do what I know I need to do to get things cracking? Yeah, I got to reset, period. I have to allow myself to pull my big girl jaws up, strap up my boots, and get to work. I'm still the same stylist that restarted in Cleveland, Ohio from Dayton. I went to that place homeless. Like, people don't even know that. My parents didn't even know that. No, I didn't have to sleep on the streets, but I did not have a place to live. All I had was a rental car first. I kept that thing 2 months and I was going back and forth. But when I was there, I slept in the shop I worked in. And I would get up at like 5:30 in the morning and do what I needed to do and turn on the open sign. I didn't have no clients. So I started doing eyebrows that I didn't know how to do, but I was good at it though. I thought I didn't know how to do them. But, point being, this is me doing something again. This is another in my life. I'm redoing something I've done before. I've relocated before. I went somewhere and had no clientele. I went somewhere and not had necessarily my own place to live. And I did it, and I did it with excellence. So it's like, why am I sitting here right now, just now coming to this conclusion? But what I will say is better late than never. Don't allow yourself to get stuck in a space that you think that restarting something is not a good idea. Hey, atmosphere. You don't want to be in a place where you think that restarting is not a good idea. Sometimes a restart will save your life. In the past, I've dealt with depression. And when I say in the past, I mean like way in the past. I'm fairly good now. But I remember when I was diagnosed with depression, I had no idea I was depressed. And that's a scary thought. You know what I mean? We go and go and go and won't even know that we're dealing with something like that. How I found out is I started having panic attacks. And I wasn't really familiar with that. All I know is I'm sitting on the chair chilling and my heart would start beating fast. And I'm like, why? I feel like I just ran 10 blocks. Of course, I think I'm having a heart attack and all that good stuff. So what did I do? I went to the doctor. And this man asked me like 2 or 3 questions. I know one of them was, what happened? What do you be doing when your heart speeds up? I'm like, I could be doing anything. I could be chilling, watching TV. He said, do you go to the refrigerator and look for food even though you're not hungry? And I'm like, man, at that time, I didn't even like really think about it like that. But I would just go in the kitchen and just find something to eat. Or in the refrigerator, just look in there. No, ain't nothing in there to eat. And just, it's like this weird thing. He said it was called nervous eats. And what was the other thing? He said, how do you handle large problems and how do you handle small problems? And my thing was, I can handle the large scale things like a champ, but it was the little things that would set me off. You know, something like if I dropped a clipper on your foot and your toe got chopped off, I would be super calm. But if I walk in the room and there's a little piece of lint on the floor, that piece of lint is going to drive me over the edge. That extreme. How long you been depressed? And I looked at him like he was crazy. I'm not depressed. What are you talking about? He said, oh yeah, you're depressed. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then he was like, what is it that you want to do that you're not doing? And that is my whole entire point about restarting and redoing things. I now realize that I've been in a space of not doing something that I've wanted to do because I've told myself, oh, this is good. You can just be here. You can just do that. And that's why I say I don't want to put myself in that position to be in that space again that I was in. I was probably what, 29? No, about 30. Yeah, about 30, somewhere around there, 30, 31. So I don't want to ever, go into that space and not realize I'm there. So as I'm rethinking things, it's like, man, I do have to get out of here. In my older age, I realized, and not like old lady, but as I get a little more mature, I realized I've been here 15 years by myself. I don't have cousins. I don't have my day ones. I don't have none of that here. It's just me against the world and the new friends I made along the way. But at the end of the day, when I get into a bind, yes, I have some friends that are, there for me if I need them. But what happens when something major happens and I don't have no family to, go to, or, okay, what if I lost my home? I don't really have nobody here that can take me in like that. I need to be around some family. So that was like the biggest part of my decision to restart everything. I'm leaving everything here to restart everything somewhere else. I'm not going home. That's where my family is. But if I go back to Ohio, just gone and called AA people. What is it called? Alcoholics Anonymous? Yeah, I can't go back to Ohio. I know I can't go back to Ohio. So I chose to go where my best friend is. And her and her husband are going to help me. And, I know I have that support system that I am lacking now, so that I won't find myself in those places and spaces where it's just me in this room or in my car or in the shop. Just me now. That's not a healthy space. And I've done it long enough. So, I'm changing those things. Those are, some of the things that for myself, I'm working on to allow for a better version of myself to come forth. The one that's been waiting to emerge, but because I didn't want to redo things, I just been chilling, It's all good. I'm sure I can make it. I'm sure I will be okay if I stayed here. But what's over there that's going to be greater if I don't go and see. I mean, what's the worst case? I probably won't come back, but what's the worst case? You got to go back or go somewhere else. I mean, I know I ain't set up like that. I'm a straight hustler, so that's not really an issue of mine, far as not making it or something. But I know that there are a lot of things that I want to do, and I am not in favorable conditions to do it. I was on the live the other day, I was showing the jewelry and the clothes. These people here, when I was selling that stuff, that's why I still got it all. I have to broaden my arena, I gotta step outside the comfort that I've been in. I gotta shake some stuff up. And I think that's what I want to relay to anybody that's what in the Michael Jackson? Somebody send me a picture. What I'm trying to relate to people, because I know that I'm not the only person that's going through a journey like this. I know there's a lot of people that really truly want to step out on that faith and relocate, or just even try something different. Almost like maybe you want to go over the next town. It ain't even got to be a state jump, but I want to, be an encouragement to anybody who has doubts or a little fear that they can do it. Just know that life is full of redoing things, restarting things, refreshing things. Just anything that you want to do, you can do it. So I'm going to document. I'm going to document my journey of my fresh new start in hopes that, I'll get an overwhelming amount of people saying, you know what? Because you showed your journey relocating, I did it too, or I decided to stay where I was because, I was just about to give up. But when I seen you do X, Y, Z, it prompted me to do ABC. I don't know. I just think that whatever part of the world I'm supposed to impact, then that's what I want to do. It might be 2 people. As long as I do a good job at that, that's what I'm going to do. I know how it is. There was a time where when I lived in Cleveland, I had a close friend and we were like real close. And we bonded as hairstylists or whatever, but we were really like friends, good friends. And somehow we fell out. And I'm a person that if I'm your friend and we're like family, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? And for her to fall out with me and to come at me and say some of the things she was saying, like, because my kids, they didn't live with me in Cleveland. They came, but they didn't like it there, I guess. They wanted to go home. And I wasn't going home. So I had parents that were very supportive. So they, my kids weren't with me because I lost them or because I couldn't take care of them. I had a great support system that allowed their grandchildren to be in the happiest space they wanted to be in. My kids, hell, I took care of them. Shoot, that didn't get me out of that. But I don't know what it was about people. They would like to throw that in my face. Even when I moved here, people say, you don't even got your kids. Like, it ain't none of your business, But, she used that as a weapon against me. You here, you ain't even got your kids and da-da-da. And all the hell in me came out because I'm looking at her like, your son is in prison, but you should talk. You was a crackhead, but you should talk. But guess what? I still felt bad at the end because just because she did that to me didn't mean I had to do it to her. But I wasn't quite where I am now then. If you push me against a wall, I'm coming out swinging. And if you get hit, it's not my fault. You shouldn't have been pushing me in the back of the wall. So, but what happened was I began to, this is how you know words is powerful. I began to say stuff that I didn't quite understand at the time. I love God. I've been saved for a long time, but I was still a little thug. I'm still a little thug now, but I would say things not understanding the true meaning of, the power of our tongue, And I would say things like, God, she's just jealous. Just make me an inspiration. I just want to inspire the multitudes. Now, those are some heavy words. You know what I'm saying? Those are some heavy words. And I didn't know how heavy they were until people started to reach out to me and say, you really encouraged me to do this, to go back to hair school. I thought that because I was in my 40s, it was too late, And when I realized what was happening, I'm like, this is a result of something I asked for. So how I handle those things even today, I don't care who it is. If you inbox me or DM me and ask me a question or have a concern or anything, I try to answer it. And if I don't have an answer for you, I'll be like, you know what? I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find that out for you. I don't never turn a person away with the question. If somebody called me and be like, hey, I was doing this to this hair and I was using this. What do you think about that? I answer those questions. Some people won't answer those type of questions, but because I know what I said out my mouth, I don't leave people on unread. I don't ignore it. And I try to help. And what happened was I learned, like I said, I learned big time. What you say, it will happen. So once I realized the influence that was coming, that's when I started getting into doing the hair shows. And people wanted to come and see, well, what booth are you going to be at? And I had to figure out a strategy of how do I get on a platform large enough so that when I say, oh, I'm at this booth, they can find me real easy. What happened? Opportunities start dropping in my lap. I'm on a barber team, Major League Barber, only stylist. I'm up there styling. I'm like, come to Major League Barber booth. Boom. People popping up like, hey, me. Oh, da, da, da. I'm like, dang, this is crazy, Not realizing the whole time, this is what I asked for. This is what I asked for. And what happens? I'm on social media. I was a beast at marketing on social media. That's why I always talk about getting back to the basics. Yeah, I'll be on here doing a little something right now, but I know if I have videos on here where I was getting 100,000 views, how did I slack off from then to now? So I'm down here because I'm marketing on social media. Here's another dude come, boom, Curtis Smith. Cut Diddy's hair, cut Usher's hair, cut Will Smith's hair. I want you on my team. How can I get you on my team? Boom, you the short hair chick. Now I'm up here selling this man's product at the hair show. Everybody know his team. I'm rolling with the big dogs. Same thing though. I didn't really care about being on those platforms. All I was worried about was those people that were looking for me, that they could find me. Whose spotlight was I going to use at the time? That's what it was for me. Also a learning experience, and I met a lot of good people. I'm not like Xing them out. Like, I'm not grateful for those opportunities, but because of the things I spoke, those are the things that started to happen. Everything that I said I was going to do happened. Even some of the things I said I would never do happened. I've opened up 2 shops since I've been here. I still can't believe I did that because I was adamant about not having a salon. I'm not having no more though. And if I do, you already know why. Jesus came and knocked on my door and said, listen. And he started shaking me. He said, you better open up a shop. And I'm like, are you sure? That's the only way. So if I say I own a shop, I had an encounter and I'm shook up. Let me stop talking about the power of my tongue, and then I open up my door and some invisible force be shaking me talking about open the shop. But I say that to say I spoke those things years ago, and it's going to happen again. It doesn't take away from what I said. It just means I need to restart and get back in the position where I put myself in a place that influences others, that inspires others, that encourages others. I think that's a way that you remain blessed out here. You know, a lot of us are very selfish. I'm not a selfish person. I love to give. I might not have money to give you, but that's not all giving is, you know. When you're selfless, you get rewards. You reap benefits when you're selfless. No, we're not going to be stupid, but when you're selfless, people will begin to seek you out, and you won't even know how they found you. But it was just this little birdie told somebody about her over there, and next thing you know, they sending you a congregation from a church to get styled. Everybody at this church want their hair done because you somehow got hooked up with the first lady. Everybody want their hair done like first lady. Boom, Jameek Shear. Those are the things I'm expecting. Oh, you did the dean at the college? Okay. Miss So-and-so, who did your hair? Oh, now I'm doing other professors and students. Now what do I do to give back? I create a system for the students with incentives if they send people. These are the things I've done before. I need to redo it. It's like everything I have need of is in my hand or in my head. All I got to do is release it. But I can't do that if I don't do something over, which means I have to allow myself to come out of this safe space and get back in the trenches. I got to restart myself. I got to restart my career. And the beauty of it is I get a chance to redo it. Simply because I choose to. Just like anybody else on here can do. I don't care. You can remarry somebody if you want to. You know what I mean? You can get rehired at a job you used to love. So I said, what does your look like? What is it that you need to start over doing? What is it that you need to remember how you did it before? And reset that thing. So I said, I need an image to go with my new brand or my revamping of my brand. I promise you, when I open up the door and hit a room, I want it to seem like a light on me. Who's that girl with the bald head? Who's that girl with the bald head? She's stunning. She's amazing. Oh my God, I must know her. Invite her over here. Yes, let's go on the yacht. Let's do lunch. I'm not going to mix with no broke people. I'm going to mix with the people that can help me help my people. And I don't care who they are. All I care is that it's providing something that's going to in turn help my friends, my loved ones, my counterparts. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Atmosphere. I'm going to light up rooms. I remember when I first moved here, I used to light up the rooms. And it's not that I'm dim now. It's just that I don't think those rooms are, I done been through. I done been through the rooms here. I've done anybody who think they somebody here in this city, I've done. I remember when I was younger, about my 6th year in, I used to say stuff like, man, I would make up little catchy business names. I had one, Images Everything, and I spelled it like images with a Z, and it was all one word, Images Everything. That's still my baby. I don't know. One of these days, that's going to birth something. But there was one thing that I always said I wanted to do was, aside of being a platform artist, I did that. The other thing I wanted to do was, I said I wanted to do a news anchor's hair. And I did one lady's hair when I was in Dayton, Ohio still. And I think that's what inspired me even more. Because, their hair always be looking jacked up on the news. So when I came to Charleston, I had a client, and she worked at the radio station. Cool lady. In turn, she hooked me up with the lady who does the dang on morning news here and has for many years. She worked on the radio station and the news channel. So here I am, the new girl in town, doing one of the top anchor women's hair in Charleston, South Carolina. This lady does the the narration for the Stellar Awards. I was doing her hair. I had people, when they came to Charleston, would email her and ask who did her hair and drop on by. Those are the things I forget. When you come to the realization that you're bigger than the space you're in, and that's why you're not fitting in, and that's why it seems like nothing's going your way, it's because you've outgrown the space. There's another anchor woman in another space that I need to be serving. There's another first lady in another space that I need to be serving. There's another president of some college in another place that I need to be serving. And I allowed myself to stay in this small space for too long. I'm bigger than where I am. You are bigger than where you are if you are dealing with those type of things. I think people say don't forget who you are or where you came from as a way of saying don't get too big for your britches. But right now that's hitting different. Don't forget who you are. In God, they say we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are the apple of his eye. I don't need none of us to forget that. There isn't nothing on earth that is withheld from us if we trust God. So for myself right now, I would have to say, I welcome my restart, because there's so much more that I have to do. And it's not all connected to hair, but that's my launching pad. But I got to get out this small space. Some of us are just in a small space. We want to do big city things from a little town. And it's not that I'm trying to do big city things. That's just an example, You're trying to do big things in a little space. It don't fit in the little space. I don't fit in this little space. You don't fit in that little space. Got to hit the reset button and figure out where you're going, where you're supposed to be, and then put your heels back in and get moving. As simple as that. I mean, it sounds simple, and I'm not saying it's going to be hard, but the hardest part of it is getting started, and I've started. So, yeah, I think I about got my rant out for the evening. Because I sure was feeling some kind of way. I mean, I'm telling y'all, protect y'all energy, as they say. Protect yourself, because there's so much stuff out here that can consume you and will have you shifty. I'm not trying to be that lady. So anytime I start feeling shifty, I'm going to come on here and talk my little head off and probably have something for somebody's. Mm-hmm. So class, what did we learn today? We're going to live life for the re, and whatever your re may be, we're going to redo, we're going to refresh, we're going to renew, we're going to restart, we're going to revamp. All that good stuff. Start with a reassessment. Where you at? Where you trying to be? Where you going? I started off talking about refurbishing a dresser. I sanded, then I put my stain on it. Then I was on my finish, and I said I wanted to be very shiny. So, I'm gonna go get some cute new knobs to put on that thing. And I'm gonna present my work of art all brand new for a whole new audience, a whole new area. And it's gonna be bigger and better because I chose to hit the reset and relocate. And I said again, I'm gonna take y'all on my journey with me, which will probably start in the next couple of weeks, start seeing the foundation, me laying the groundwork and everything. Tomorrow I have a very, 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 very big step that I have to take. And it's going to be probably hella emotional for me because, like I said, I don't dislike Charleston. I love it here. It's a beautiful place. I've had a good life here, but I think I'm going to have like huge separation anxiety. It's going to be like parting a baby from his mother or something. I don't know. But tomorrow is the day that I turn in my 60-day notice. I think I'm going to absolutely lose my mind soon as I get them people that paper, because that means it's official. It's going down. Ain't no looking back. In 60 days, I'll be a resident somewhere else. So I'll probably be an emotional wreck tomorrow, ball of anxiety. I don't know. But I'm going to take it like a champ because I know it ain't nothing but goodness coming on the other side of it. Can't let those type of things stop you or deter you from going forth into your greatness. Because I know one thing, we all possess a solution and we all possess greatness. I remember I used to tell my son when he was young, like, you're a king. Don't you know you're of greatness? Do you know I used to tell him that and I didn't even understand why or where that came from. I would just say it to my baby. And as I began to grow and evolve, and I would still say it to him as he got older. And I still say it to him now. He's a grown man. And it hit me like one day, like, oh my God, you were speaking life into your child and you didn't even know nothing about that. I said a lot of things before I understood how God worked. I'm just glad I came into the know. You know what I'm saying? Don't doubt those little things you think or those things you say that don't quite make sense in a moment. Because they all are valuable and they all have a meaning and a purpose. They have a place and a time. You just got to keep going and stay in that space, Stay in that space of speaking those things that are not as though they are. Yeah. I like that. I think I might can end right there. Because I might start preaching or something. Shoot. I told you I'm a borderline preacher and a borderline thug. Be like little Miss Reverend Bushy in the head. You're stupid. I got to go to bed. No, I got to go out here and make some money because rent is due, motherfucker. Yes. That's what happened when you're single and got to do stuff for yourself. Got to be a stone cold hustler. It's all good because one day it's going to change. Hopefully before I turn 60. I had me somebody or somebody's. No, let me quit. You gotta turn into a 60-year-old player. Like, girl, I got a nigga on every side of town. I will not revert to that lady. No, but it's been real. Let me see. Am I going outside to make some money? Yep. Extra $3 and it's busy. All right, y'all. I love you. Anybody on the replay, y'all know the drill. If you want to get your girl some lunch, money sign hermeekness. That's my monetization. Buy me some food. And I'm going to get out of here so I can drive. I'm going to go out here for about an hour and a half, see what I can drum up, and then get back in here and get myself into bed. Thank you for coming by, my 1, 2, maybe 3 people. I appreciate you as always, Mr. Atmosphere, Miss Lady T. Yeah, that's my meat talk. And I'm out. Love you. Bye.